Macbeth's decision. In another part of the castle, Banquo was getting ready for bed. He took off his sword and handed it over to his servant, and then glanced out at the starless night. "There's good housekeeping in heaven," he murmured to himself. "All their candles have been put out. I should put my candle out as well, but I'm too restless. I feel that something terrible may happen tonight." As he said these words, Macbeth knocked on the door. "Do you have everything you need?" he inquired. "I do," Banquo said, "but I'm too restless to sleep. I've been thinking over the words of the weird woman. They said that you would be Thane of Cawdor, and you are. But when they said you would be king—" "Let's talk about that later," Macbeth interrupted, "when you have the time. For tonight, sleep well." While Macbeth and Banquo were talking, Lady Macbeth took drugged wine to Duncan's guards. Soon they were slumped outside the king's door, snoring. She took their daggers gently from their belts and crept into the king's room. Duncan too slept, but as Lady Macbeth stared down at him, she realized that he looked like her father. "I cannot do it," she whispered to herself, backing from the room. But she laid the daggers before the doorstep. "Macbeth will see them when he comes by," she thought, "and perhaps he will do the deed." After Macbeth left Banquo, he wandered up and down the hall in a frenzy of uncertainty. As he grew more frantic, he began to see things. "I think I see a dagger hanging before me in the air," he cried. "Is it my imagination? Is it a vision telling me to carry out this dreadful plot? Here is a real dagger in my belt. Will I draw it? Yes, I will. I have made up my mind. Duncan, this night you will go to heaven or to hell." And he made his way towards the stairs. Lady Macbeth waited for her husband in their rooms. When she heard his step, she opened the door. There he stood, his face white. "I have done it," he whispered. "But I think I will never sleep again. I thought I heard a voice cry, 'Sleep no more. Macbeth doth murder sleep. Macbeth shall sleep no more.'" "Pull yourself together," Lady Macbeth told him. "Go wash your hands, put on your night clothes, and we'll tell everyone we were asleep when it happened." When Duncan's guards discovered that the king was dead, Macbeth and his wife came yawning from their room, pretending to be shocked and horrified. Lady Macbeth even fainted. They played their part so well that Duncan's followers decided to make Macbeth, the dead king's cousin, the next king of Scotland. But although Macbeth had gotten away with murder, he was afraid that Banquo would be the next to plot for the throne. Hadn't the weird women said that Banquo would be the father of kings? Maybe Banquo was planning to put his children on the throne in Macbeth's place. So Macbeth hired 3 murderers to follow Banquo on his morning's ride, and to kill him. Now Macbeth was truly safe, but as he sat at dinner that night, Macbeth saw Banquo's ghost. He shouted, "Hence, horrible shadow," startling his other guests, who could see nothing. As time went on, Macbeth and Lady Macbeth felt more and more guilt. They had nightmares. "We sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly," Macbeth complained. "Duncan sleeps peacefully in his grave. He is better off than we are." And Lady Macbeth started to walk in her sleep, rubbing her hands together over and over as if she were washing them. "Out, out, bloody spot," she would whisper until someone woke her up. Finally, Macbeth decided to go find the 3 weird women again and ask them whether his throne was safe. He discovered them in a cave, huddled around a cauldron, chanting, "Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble." One of the women, hearing Macbeth approach, said, "By the pricking of my thumbs, something evil this way comes." And in came Macbeth. "Answer me this question," he said to them. "How long will I be king?" "Till the forest walks up to your castle," the women answered him. "That will never be," Macbeth exclaimed. "Who can command the trees to unfix their roots from the earth?" And he went home, comforted. But when he arrived at his gate, he saw his servants weeping. "Your lady is dead," they told him. Lady Macbeth had died of a guilty conscience. And worse was to come. Macbeth's lookouts began to shout that they could see a forest approaching the castle. When Macbeth ran up to the wall, he saw an enormous army moving towards his castle, each man carrying in front of him a branch cut from the woods, so that the defenders in the castle could not tell exactly how many soldiers were coming. Duncan's relatives were at the front of the attack, ready to fight for the throne. Soon the avenging army broke into the castle. Armed men ran towards Macbeth. Macbeth realized that his life was over. He shouted, "Out, out, brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing." And then he drew his sword, plunged into the fight, and was killed. Macbeth is a tragedy. At its end, Macbeth and Lady Macbeth and a number of other characters are all dead, but Queen Elizabeth probably enjoyed this play. After all, it showed that a nobleman who plotted treason against a ruler would come to a bad end.